All right, we in this thing. We in this thing. As you come on in, make sure you drop in for the win by putting the one in the chat. Make sure my audio is good, the video is good, the lighting's good, everything is good. Drop down in the chat, let us know you here, and good evening to each and every last one of you. This ain't gonna be no extra long stream like I typically normally do. I typically normally jump up here. I could do about 3, 4 hours or something like that. But tonight is really more so sounds like some Lil John fighting. Just I'm saying. The music lets me know this motherfucker about to get grimy. Yeah, well, listen, from the title alone and the description, if you already didn't catch the wave, you know what I'm saying? It's about to be some hard hitting discussions that we're gonna be having tonight. No, this is not going to be a panel show. This is not going to be a open topic. This is more so just going to be me giving my 2 cents as I see this situation. So there is some changes going on. I know how loose it is to get a job, but got to grow up and move on. Hey, that's a fact. That is a fact. That's 1,000% fact. And I appreciate each and every last one of y'all being here. If you haven't noticed, there has been some changes going on with the channel, making some hellified adjustments to how it is that um, the algorithm is going to be working this channel. So for a lot of you who have been subscribed for quite some time, you're going to notice that a lot of videos have been removed, which is part of the plan to really get things in motion so we can get back to where we used to be. So, but it's all right though. That don't mean that we're not gonna put in the grind, we're not gonna put in the time. We still gonna get down and we're gonna make things happen the way it's supposed to be. With that being said, until we get things back in motion where they used to be. If you want to support the show, all you gotta do is just request the link. We got 3 different ways you can support the show, other than just engagement within the chat, liking the stream, and also subscribing to the channel. So, with that being said, man, let me let me go ahead and discuss something with y'all right quick. And I don't know if y'all seen the clip where Ryan Clark was crying on his show, The Pivot. Put a one in the chat if y'all seen that clip with Ryan Clark crying on The Pivot. It was the best way I could say it was really damning. You know what I mean? Because I like Ryan Clark. as a football player, as a sport analyst, as a podcaster. You know, he does a lot of good things. It's just in this particular one, it kind of, I'm not gonna say rub me the wrong way, but it also had others really rise to the occasion and really start calling to the forefront. Yeah, he was crying, brother. Like, listen, I can't do him no disservice. I can only play you the clip.
It's like so accepted in New Orleans now. Like I wouldn't change that. You know, never. You know, like all I ever wanted to do was be accepted. You know, and want it. So yeah, like that, I wouldn't change. You know, if you ask me, probably the first like Monday of football, when all my friends get to do something like we did, like super special together, yeah, I'd probably change it. You know,
Now, I'm not playing that clip because I want to highlight uh Ryan Clark's. I'm not celebrating nor am I glorifying the situation that Ryan Clark is going through. But it also made me ask questions because sometimes we have to peer through the lens of reality and we have to shift through the minutia of what things are being portrayed to us. You see what I'm saying? Now the other two guys don't want to be there. Hey, listen, there's an old saying that the most effective accusation is often the one that never has to be spoken aloud. And in today's media landscape, that media has become an art form. Public figures understand that they don't always have to make a direct allegation if they can create an emotional narrative that leads their audience to the conclusion of their own, right? Shout out, brother Omni. What's going on, my G? He said, ninjas like Ryan Clark is why we say the West Bank isn't New Orleans. See, facts, facts. Bullets, what's going on, my G's? All is well. He says, can you imagine a free safety crown like a kicker, brother? But see, this is where it gets deep for me, right? Because as I was going back and I was listening to his podcast, it was a couple of things that stood out to me, right? And some of the things that stood out to me was it was these unwarranted accusations of discrimination towards him. And it made me ask questions like, bruh, if you've been getting discriminated against in some shape, form, or fashion, why did you stay? I'm just trying to understand. Why did you stay? Why did you stay at a place where uh you felt you wasn't wanted? You felt you was more tolerated than accepted. You see what I'm saying? Not typically what happens in these situations is once the audience arrives there, the speaker gains all of the benefits of the accusation without necessarily accepting the burden of proving it. If someone challenges the narrative later, the response is simple. Well, I never actually said that. Well, of course, you never actually said it because you inferred it. Well, technically, that might be true. Well, technically, it might be true. It all depends on who's delivering the message and who you're delivering it to. But it also raises an important question about responsibility. If you intentionally frame a story in a way that encourages millions of people or potentially millions of people to reach a particular conclusion, are you really separate from that conclusion simply because you never uttered the exact words? Malcolm D, what's going on, brother? So that question is what brings us to this Ryan Clark situation and the public discussion that's really surrounding his departure or laying off or firing from the ESPN network. Now, since Ryan Clark left the network, he has done this he has done, I'm not going to call it an interview, but he has done an episode on his show in which he spoke openly about the circumstances surrounding his layoff, firing, exit. He expressed disappointment. He expressed frustration. And it was a sense that his firing was not simply another business decision made during company layoffs. Now, whether you agree with him or not, those feelings that he was having are indeed real because, like I just showed y'all, he was emotionally upset about it, right? So now it's up to the viewer, right, to whether or not they're going to accept and acknowledge all of the things that he was saying in a heightened peak of emotion, right? Whether you agree with him or not, those feelings are real. But acknowledging someone's feelings is not the same as accepting every implication that flows from their story or from their speech. Because there's an important distinction between understanding how someone experienced an event and concluding that their interpretation of why it happened is objectively true, right? Because in our current culture, there's two ideas, those two ideas about whether or not you are accepting or the position that the person has or the position that they're expressing. These two ideas, they are treated as though they are interchangeable. And me personally, I just believe that that's a mistake. Since I was listening to Ryan Clark discuss his departure, I found myself asking a question that I don't think has received enough attention. Not whether or not he was treated fairly, not whether or not ESPN always makes good decisions. And we know as a business, not just as a sportscasting business that ESPN is into when it comes to sports, but a multitude of businesses have bad practices. We can all agree to that, right? So that's not the question. And it's not even a question of whether there were disagreements that was going on behind the scenes that the public may not even know about, because there's a lot of things that go on behind scenes in businesses and podcasting and mainstream media, just in social media and every form of media that you can think of. My question was much simpler. What exactly is Ryan Clark asking his audience to believe? That's my simple question. Because you come on talking about the situation about the Lacey individual, right? The young man that was involved in the incident, and how it is that the network wanted everyone who gave commentary about the Kyrie Lacey situation, they wanted them to apologize. And you said, well, I'm not apologizing. And they said, well, you can't come back to work. You can not at least for 3 days. And then you turn around and say, well, I guess I'm not coming back to work. Failure to follow protocol or failure to play a ball is why you're not playing ball. So you can't turn around and say, well, I'm not playing ball because they don't want me to. No, you made a decision not to play ball, right? So it was a clip that I was listening to from and this really pretty much even more so awakened this questioning that was having, right? So it was LaShawn McCoy. I want y'all to listen to what he said, right? And maybe y'all pick up on what it is that I received from what Ryan Clark was talking about and what LaShawn McCoy said.
Does stuff for attention. It's a lot of them that do this. And I truly think that he's one of them. So my thing is, I just don't know how real this is. He might have real feelings. I don't know, but I've watched him over the years. He's such a social media dude. This is part of it. This is part of it.
I think honestly though, the firing of so many different people had more to do with just them trying to make cuts. It's business. Yeah. I think Carl Ravitch was with ESPN for 30 plus years doing baseball coverage and ended up being let go in these cuts though too. I think it's just business, and I think they viewed him as someone that wasn't bringing as much as they felt like they needed moving forward. So
real quick though, imagine when we got fired from Fox, they did all this though. You just start crying and all that, and I don't care. I start crying with you. Shit, we got all type of press. You know what I mean? Like, come on, it's part of the game. But when you pay somebody money like they've been paying us to be on TV to run our mouth, it's part of it. You get cut.
That's assuming the crying was because he got cut. I'm saying I don't think he cried because he got fired. I think he cried
I
because
knew,
of the gratitude.
I knew this.
involved.
I knew it was gonna be something. I knew he was gonna monetize this whole thing. You know what? I'm about to make this something. Yeah, we did. Instead of just getting fired like everybody else, you know what? We're gonna make some other thing. We're gonna get some clicks.
Is somebody that
We're gonna have millions of views in this joint.
Is somebody that goes to therapy, how do you feel about that space, that safe space that was created?
And that's why what I'm saying
is
is for him, I just don't know because I watched his previous patterns.
Yeah.
So let me look in your eyes because I'm not your boy, and I don't, you know what I mean? I don't, you know, you can't tell me, and it's not right or wrong. But if somebody said to you, "Yeah, I show," I think Ryan Clark is a attention media, social media guy. You can see where they're coming from. You be like, okay.
Yeah, I think Ryan knows how to get clicks. I think he knows how to get views. I don't think it's like conniving,
but that's good enough for me right there.
He knows how to get views.
You know what I mean? But for you to say that, like, you know, like I could tell somebody.
But I don't think that was fake.
But when you do it so much, you just don't know. You just don't know.
But so Shady, let's just say, in all actuality, the tears were for clicks and engagement. What is your response? And then the tears were absolutely authentic, and he really felt like that. What's your response,
bro? I don't have no response. I don't feel bad. None of that. Like, we all been fired.
Whether the tears are real or not, it's hard. You're indifferent.
James Jones just texted me. Right? Yeah, one of our good friends. We were on Fox. They fired his ass fast. They fired him so fast. Soon he left out.
His badge quit working.
Right, his badge didn't even work no more.
Yeah, that's true story.
I remember recording. Yo, take this video. Oh, that's what y'all doing? You fired me, and then I can't get in my stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? My thing with Ryan is like, the true matter is like, I just don't know if it's real or not because I've seen him all in action. That's what he does. That's what he do. Anything something happens, I'm gonna speak about it because I just want to be looked at as because I want to be accepted. So I want to look like I'm speaking on everybody's, you know, issues around the world, like I'm policing the world. But hold up, so because I want to be accepted. Then this like thing, we just feel bad for him. But I'm not saying it's true or false. I'm just saying as long as I've known him on TV or not on TV, he's always been searching for attention.
What if you feel like your actual calling on television, the reason you have your platform is to give a voice to those that don't have?
That's why I just told you before TV. He was like this.
Okay.
I gave you an example where I did a lockout. Everybody is known it's a lockout. Nobody can get in here. You had somebody record you trying to get in the facility. That blew my mind. Like, who are you doing this for? Does that make sense? Sometimes with these social media people, and I'm learning because it's a new day and age. But I be thinking like, damn, attention is that serious for you to like? You gotta have somebody record you? I'm just saying like, damn, you an NFL player, shit.
Yeah.
You know, but I get it, undrafted and all that, and he's always had to fight to get. So I understand it. But when these things surface and you ask me for my true feelings, I don't have any.
Yeah.
Because I'm used to seeing him do stuff for attention.
Well, I got to hear the feelings of the chat. I know.
So that's pretty much the premise that we're working with. And it's not just Ryan. It just happened to be Ryan in this particular situation, right? And the same question and the same premise that Shay was coming from, that's the position and the premise that I come from, right? Was this just for clicks and views? Did you come on, like, did you come and do your show just for views? Like, even when that situation happened, like that Shay was just bringing up about him being recorded trying to get into the building, bro, you knew you couldn't go in there. Why you trying to go in there? What you doing? Right? And it was a point in the Pivot show that he was doing on his show on YouTube. It was a point where it really just came to the surface where he was like, all right, it was me and a group of other people that was involved in this thing, right? I'm not gonna say no names, but these other people happen to be white, and he happened to be the only black man. And he was like, and I'm the one that got fired. Bruh, I don't understand this need to make everything about race, right? Right. Just says, so why Ryan crashed out there? Scary type of person, a grown, trained man who loses control of his emotions. I'm just saying, though, you lost control of your emotions over a job. And as I was listening to his show, you knew that it was some type of tension. Like, you knew that this wasn't going to be a forever thing, right? I think Ryan Clark, he'd been on ESPN for about 12 years, if I'm not mistaken, 11 to 12 years. So you knew this wasn't a forever thing, right? People have lost jobs for less. So regardless of for whatever reason that you got fired, why are you crying about it? As a man, you understand that nothing lasts forever, right? So that's the question, is what keeps running through my mind as I was listening to them discuss this. because I watched this with an open mind, because losing the job is personal. It is emotional. It's painful. For a lot of y'all a lot of y'all in the chat, y'all may have lost some jobs, right? And it may have come at the worst time possible. Like you really needed this job, and this is what you was dependent on, that check, and something happens, and now you ain't gotta check the pen on no more. OG, what's going on? OG Burnell, what's happening, my G? I already know what you want. I got you, OG. I already know what time it is. Don't worry about it. I got you.
Here's Charlie Wilson.
Can I get to the games? Sweet games. Show me the way, 'cause I got bills to pay. Can I get to the games? Sweet games. Show me the way, 'cause I got bills to pay.
Now, typically, I would play OG Burnell's clip with the people flying through the air when it's a panel, but it ain't a panel today. But that's my OG Burnell. He a big sponsor of the show, so I got him.
Better scramble like an egg before you get folded like an omelet, nigga.
Ooh, that brother's floating in the air. How could his hands do this? Oh, someone get him out the air.
Appreciate you, OG Burnell, for stopping in. So let me get back to this, because it's a piece I want to play. Hey, appreciate you. Hey, listen, shout out to OG Burnell for being once again sponsor of the motherfucking show. It's greatly appreciated. Look, what I'm gonna go ahead and celebrate him with. I'm gonna celebrate him with this one.
The champ is here.
All right, this is my shit right here.
The champ is here.
This shit is crazy.
The evil genius. The champ is here.
As always, y'all know what it is. It's Beano Nation in the station. So shout out to OG Burnell and to the Angry Man. Appreciate you. I found OG Burnell over there. So, hey, whenever I pick up the gems, I always make sure I keep them shining. So I appreciate you. And thank you for being a proud sponsor of the show, OG. Now, continuing on with the show really quick, because I do want to play a couple of excerpts from his show that he did. And I'm going to start here.
Someone within the building, and they said the way I stand up for our community is commendable, right? That they respected that in my position I had a passion for that, but they also said it had created enemies for me at the executive level. It had created opposition, and that there were people within that building that were going to stand on the table for me. And it was such a shock, because I thought to myself, in the most important year in ESPN football, you gotta stand on the table for me? Like, for me. Yeah. Like, there's somebody that needs to be convinced that our NFL coverage is elevated when I'm on TV. Like, there's a person that knows football. There's a person that knows TV that thinks that 13 years in the NFL, Super Bowl, Pro Bowler, a captain, experience from being an undrafted free agent to trying to make the team, to being one of the leaders in the locker room, 12 years of doing this. You got to convince that person that I should be doing TV. Mm-hmm. And, what I learned was it wasn't about who I was in front of the camera as it pertained to football. It was about what I represented every time I got in front of that camera. And that is something that I don't believe you truly, truly can combat.
When it's all said.
So here's the thing, right? And I appreciate him saying that, for saying the quiet part out loud. But the thing is, you're saying that you're doing this as a representative or a spokesperson for the community, right? And here's my thing. And I've never had a problem with people speaking out on the things that they see, right? And I just had this discussion with my brother Chicago Gorilla over there on Trade the Truth Tellers panel. But my thing is this, though, right? If your activism is outweighing your job, and you feel that your activism is more valuable than your job, you got two choices to make. You can choose between your activism and your job. Just that simple. It ain't no other way to look at that, because your activism is not what brings the core. It's not what's working towards the core aspects of the show, right? And this whole idea of, I believe I was treated unfairly, and telling the story in a way that invites your audience to conclude that unfair treatment must have been rooted in something much bigger than the available evidence that's clearly established. No, you got to draw some distinction there, brother, because now what you're doing is you're depending on people's heartstrings to be the music that plays as you have left, and now you're crying on the sofa or you're crying in the chair. Right. Just someone says, yeah, well, Ryan still got 12 million at 46. He okay. Exactly. It's not like you downtrodden. It's not like you broke. You got money. You have a show. You have other businesses. You have other things that you involved in. And don't get me wrong, ESPN might have been your biggest paycheck. But if you're just upset because you lost possibly your biggest paycheck, then I understand that 1,000%. Exact. Calvin says he didn't understand ESPN hired him to talk about football, and that's it. We understand what Shannon Sharp did and don't get me wrong, the character and who Shannon Sharp was, can we be honest, it's what made that show when he was on there with Skip Bayless. We didn't come to watch Skip Bayless, but eventually Skip Bayless gave us a reason to watch him because Shannon was there. And Shannon was saying some hellified things when he was up doing them shows. He had quotes, he had emotes, he had it was a lot of memorable things that Shannon Sharp said on that show with Skip Bayless. That's why when Shannon Sharp left, that show tanked vehemently. Right? So ESPN is buying into your character so you can speak to what it is that they're producing, which is sports. Absolutely, Ryan moved the goalpost. He absolutely did. He moved the goalpost because, as he's saying here on his show, my activism and my loyalty to the community and my wantingness to be accepted and respected was more valuable than my sports commentary. And I'm not saying that that's what happened, but that's what he's saying right here on this show. But anyway, let's continue.
And done. That's the least anyone can do. I mean, you stand up and stand on, the shoulders or for so many people. Like what you do, bruh, is unbelievable. So for someone to stand up for you, I think that's the minimum anyone can do. But so also, I want to put this to bed because a lot of people have been having their takes about Stephen A. And you mentioned Stephen A. Is there anything Stephen A. could have done to make this go away?
No. Stephen A., with all of his power, with all of his influence, is not a true decision maker at ESPN. That's not his job title, right? That's not in the repertoire of what he's asked to do. And we get it so many times, right? And I get it all the time. Why do you ride for him so much? Like, why don't you come for him when he says these things? And I've said it on the show. I call him. I text him. I tell him when I think he's doing too much. And I have the conversations with him all the time. But when this company was treating me in a way that, at least in my opinion, was unfair.
And that right there is my problem, right? You saying when this company was treating you in a way that was unfair. Let me ask y'all in the chat a quick question. If you someplace where you're not being accepted, nor respected, but more so you're being tolerated, would you stay? Even if it was for a paycheck? Because that question, that's a very important hiring question as well, right? Because it does, a black eye, it does seem manipulative because I'm not staying where I'm not respected. I'm not staying where I'm not accepted, and I won't be anywhere that I'm tolerated. You see what I'm saying? Dr. Manhattan says, but if there's anyone that has the pull on air, it's Stephen A. What are they going to do? Fire him? Exactly. Right. It's not unfair to ESPN's viewers' numbers and their money. But the thing is, though, I'm not staying where I'm not respected and accepted. I don't have to be somewhere just because I'm tolerated. John says, such is life. That's the way of the world. Facts. So let's continue.
As it pertains to what I'd accomplished, he was the first person to go, I want you.
Mm-hmm.
If they're going to take you off of this or that, don't worry about it. You'll get your TV time on my show. Thursday and Friday will be Ryan Clark's days. That will never be forgotten by me.
Mm-hmm.
I will be forever grateful for that. That in a space that I was sort of being told, at least being who you are is going to make you lose certain things because you aren't these people that we covet, these people that we're comfortable with, these people that we take pictures with and put our arms around and show the world that we support them. I'll do that for you. And the loyalty he's shown me, the love he's shown me, the true hurt and pain in his voice when he called me around 4:00 Central Time on Monday, I will never forget that. We are forever friends.
You talking
So,
about
really quick, because I want to continue. So Calvin says, but the producers discuss what topics to talk about. And I believe Ryan went off script and started talking about racism issues on his own. And that was some of the biggest controversy, right? And not just this is something that he says during his show, but that's what some of the viewers was picking up on. The people who watch, the people who pay the paychecks at ESPN, the viewers, the people who pay for the subscriptions, the people who continuously pay these reoccurring subscriptions, right? If every 2 days I'm going to have to hear about racism, I just want to hear about football. I want to hear about sports. I want to hear about baseball, basketball, boxing, something. I don't want to just hear about racism. And to be honest with you, if I'm being totally honest, that only worked for Shannon Sharp because what Shannon Sharp did was he included it in his takes. And then also there was specifically shows that was built around during that time. Y'all know what time Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless show blew up, right? But you can't take the formula, you can't reuse the formula that Shannon Sharp had and try to use it again in a different way. Because even when Shannon Sharp came to ESPN, it kind of wasn't working over there, right? So let's continue really quick. Dr. Manhattan says, if they fire you, then you can come on my show and I'll still get paid. Facts. Still get paid by who? By you? So you're gonna pay me with the money that ESPN potentially pay you with. Come on, man. What we doing? I mean, if he wants to loop those things together, he could at least talk about Jackie Robinson. He could, right? But the thing is, everything isn't always victim. It can't be that way, man.
4 Central on Monday. What happened on Monday? Because you got 5-minute shifts. Get fired halfway through that job.
Hey, Jared, crazy, right? Hey,
Where'd the other box go?
hey, Smokey was trying to build club houses. You know what I'm saying? He was stealing boxes.
He was still in boxing.
Hey, my box disappeared. You know,
Your box went away.
Hey, they was
Came
like,
back
damn.
commercial. I said, then where else he go?
Yeah. So let me put this to bed. I wasn't laid off. I was fired. Right? They're using layoffs as a cover and a camouflage for what they already intended on doing. But there was no cause for it, right? So because there was no cause for it, you couldn't just fire me. So you had to wait to the layoff so you could camouflage it and veil it, right? But here's the other thing. If I was laid off like everybody else, they came out on Tuesday. Mine came out on Friday. I get the call. I get a text from our showrunner that tells me to call my boss. I call my boss in the break, tells me they're letting me go. He said this is a very awkward call. This is a hard call. Like, I hear how hard it was for him. And if anybody was going to call me that was anywhere on the executive level, whether low or high, he's the person I wanted to, the way he's fought for me and rode for me. And he said, our friends, jokingly, at Outkick had the story and we're going to leak it. Let me tell you why I know I was fired. Because during the season, after some of the Kyron Lacey news broke, there were people on our network along with me that said something about it. Both of those people apologized, as did I. I didn't want to, right? I was told I couldn't come to work if I didn't. And at that point I said, well, I can't come to work tomorrow because I don't believe I did anything wrong. Some conversations happened and we got to that point. And Outkick wrote an article about all the people that apologized, two very prominent faces at ESPN. And they praised them for who they were and how they brought this thing back around. And they bashed me, talked about how negative I was and spoke about me in such a nasty way. And I sent an email at that time to Burke Magnus and Dave Roberts, who were working, because we were on an email talking about how we were going to handle it. And I was very poignant in saying, you have to watch who you listen to about me. There's certain people who want to paint me as a certain thing, certain people who want to devalue my voice, certain people who, no matter what I do, with all the great I've done, they've never mentioned that. But in this case, there are three people who are very important to this network, who all did the same thing, who all responded in the same way. And only one of us was vilified. And only one of us was a black man.
Did y'all catch what he did right there? Did anybody catch what he did right there? You're not saying that ESPN is racist. You're not saying that Outkick is racist, but you're leaving an underlying tone that there was some form of racism. Cooley Cat said no. So I'm going to play it again, so I'm going to see if y'all can catch it. Let me go back.
Work tomorrow.
1 second, y'all. It's loading.
At Outkick had the story and we're going to leak it. Let me tell you why I know I was fired. Because during the season, after some of the Kyron Lacey news broke, there were people on our network along with me that said something about it.
Cool. So this was pertaining to their comments that they talked about with Kyron Lacey.
Both of those people apologized, as did I. I didn't want to, right? I was told I couldn't come to work if I didn't. And at that point I said, well, I can't come to work tomorrow.
Okay, so it's their house, it's their rules. If you're not going to apologize on our network, we're not going to let you come back until you apologize. Fair.
Because I don't believe I did anything wrong. Some conversations happened and we got to that point. And Outkick wrote an article about all the people that apologized, two very prominent faces at ESPN. And they praised them for who they were and how they brought this thing back around. And they bashed me, talked about how negative I was and spoke about me in such a nasty way. And I sent an email at that time to Burke Magnus and Dave Roberts, who were working, because we were on an email talking about how we were going to handle it. And I was very poignant in saying, you have to watch who you listen to about me. There's certain people who want to paint me as a certain thing, certain people who want to devalue my voice, certain people who, no matter what I do, with all the great I've done, they've never mentioned that. But in this case, there are three people who are very important to this network, who all did the same thing, who all responded in the same way. And only one of us was vilified. And only one of us was a black man.
Okay, so I just replayed it. Did y'all catch it? The commentary about Kyrie Lacey. There was three people that made commentary about it, two of which was white, one of which was black. And in the midst of all of that, you got a negative article written about you. And the first thing that you bring up is this is definitely about racism, without saying that it's racism. Now, one of the reasons that this particular point in the discussion matters is because accusations involving discrimination carry enormous weight, as they should. because racism has been a real and destructive force throughout American history, hell, throughout world history, I could even conclude. And still, even to this day, it continues to exist in various forms, right? So, shout out to Waso. What's going on, Waso? What's happening, Rant? And what up, Vikings? But because of that reality, these claims of racial discrimination, they should be taken seriously. But taking them seriously means applying the same standard that we would apply to any serious allegation. So now, if you're going to say that it's racist, that you got an article written about you, would it also be racist if it was two black men and a white man got an article written about him? See, this is where it becomes uncomfortable for a lot of people, because it was a multitude of people that was on Skip Bayless' show that was black that really livened up that show. But then when Skip Bayless would give commentary, you had a lot of black people who were saying negative things about Skip Bayless. So if it was racism, follow me with this on y'all. Follow me this on this one, y'all. If it was a racism that a negative article was positioned to make Ryan Clark look bad, was it also racism when there were negative commentators and podcasters and social media influencers who was giving commentary about Skip Bayless? Racism does not only work one way, and I wish that people would stop trying to sell us on that dream. Racism works both ways, if not always. I think it's absolutely hilarious that Ryan is mad. He's trying to claim racism on Disney-run network. Disney is the most woke thing on the planet. They make the man women and the whites black. Facts, right? So, in doing this, if you make everything about race, right, because of this reality, it requires evidence. It requires specifics. It requires more than just emotional responses. Because otherwise, this culture, this community that you're representing or that you're fighting for, you risk creating a culture where the seriousness of the accusation is used to discourage scrutiny rather than invite it. And that doesn't serve real victims of genuine discrimination, and it doesn't serve the truth. The same thing happened with the Me Too era. You had a lot of people coming out claiming, you had a lot of women and men coming out claiming that things were happening to them, and they didn't have any form of evidence to show that it actually happened. It was more so just believe the accusation just because I said it. And why should we believe the accusation just because you said it? Because you're a woman, because you're a man, because you're white, because you're black, because you're rich, because you're poor, because you're tall, because you're short, because you're fat, because you're skinny. If this accusation holds any weight, it should also balance out on the other side. And even in there is another question that I think deserves to be asked, even if it makes people uncomfortable. Can I be honest with y'all in the chat? Put a one in the chat if I could be honest with y'all right quick. If someone sincerely believes that the organization that they work for operates in discriminatory or fundamentally unjust ways, why would they continue to work there, and how should they respond? And to be honest with you, those two questions are dangerous because there is no perfect answer. People will stay in difficult workplaces for all kinds of reasons. They need to support their families. They believe they can create change from the inside. They enjoy the work despite the disagreements with leadership and the hardship and the challenges that they face. And these are all understandable reasons. But if those are the reasons, then it is worse. It is worth saying so openly that is worth staying at that job. Explain that the opportunity mattered and it was more valuable than the hardships. Explain that the platform mattered. Explain that the paycheck mattered. Explain that you believe you could have a positive influence despite your concerns. Those are honest answers that most people can respect, even if they disagree. Oh man, I ain't really like being at that job, bro. But at the end of the day, man, I got kids. I got a front for. I got a wife. I got a family to provide for. I got to make sure my kids get through college. I'm putting this money that I'm making up here. I'm putting that to the side for my kids, even if I hate this job. Even if I hate this job, I still need this money to put up for my kids later, or to get ready for this house I'm about to get ready to buy. You see what I'm saying? So what becomes harder to understand is when the strongest criticism of an organization seems to emerge only after the relationship ends. It's like in a relationship when a man and a woman breaks up, right? We are willing to listen to the fallout and the drama about, oh, this happened in the relationship. This happened in the relationship. His dick was small. Her pussy was loose. She had too much mouth. Oh, he got on my nerves. She was lazy. All of these myriad of reasons of why the relationship failed. But the problem is these people stayed in this relationship for forever. So they was dealing with these things that they're complaining about. But the problem is you're only telling everyone else these negative things about the other person because you don't want the other person to be seen in a positive light. You want to be seen as a victim. So for Ryan to get up here and say, well, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It was two other people and they happen to be white. And I'm the only one that got talked about in a negative way because I'm black. That doesn't automatically mean that the criticism is invalid. That just means that why are you saying it now? Let's continue.
And so how poignant, how purposeful is it to make sure that that's the exact same publication that gets the story that I'm going to be fired? Because you know what they're going to do? They're going to praise ESPN. They're going to pump ESPN up for getting rid of the person who stands up for the community. And they're going to say that these are all the reasons why I didn't belong on TV in the first place.
Sweet. So now my question is this. If you believe that you should keep a job because you stood up for the community, where's the community to back? Ryan Clark. Where's all of the Carmelo Anthony supporters? Where's all of the Nolan Wells? Where's Ben Crump? Where is Ben Crump? Where is Ben Crump? Wait a minute. Where's Ben Crump? Where is Ben Crump? Where's Al Sharpton? Where's Cory Booker? Where is T-Boo Obama? Where's Jasmine Crockett? Where are all of these community leaders that love to go on their social media pages and love to do all of these grandstanding soapbox speeches and give all of these hot takes about racism? Where are they for Ryan Clark? Are y'all not in support of Ryan Clark because he's rich? Okay, take away his money. He's still a man. Take away his skin color. He's still a man. Apply his skin color. He's a black man. Apply his money. He's a rich black man. Okay, so does he not deserve to be treated equally and fairly just because he's not poor? Right, exactly. The community has more than just black people. Sharon, what's going on? He says he's all three. Right. But Sharon, that's my point. If you strip away the fact that he's rich, you can only deal with the fact that he's black and a male. If you strip away the fact that he's black, you can only deal with the fact that he's a male. But anytime there's always some type of rallying rampart for people to come and support those of the community, the representatives of the community, how come the community don't show up to support? And I know that this just recently happened, but you have more people flocking to the Nolan Wells case for clicks and views. You have more people still drumming up this narrative about Carmelo Anthony for clicks and views, yet no one's talking about Ryan. Where is Al Sharpton and where is Ben Crump? Right? So now, if you just now that we peel back the layers of the onion to just leave him as a man, now we got to apply to other things, right? Why are these politicians not supporting him? So let's add back in the fact that he's black. So not only is he a man, he's black. Okay, cool. Not only is he a man and he's black, but he's rich. So does he not deserve this community outreach? I got questions, right? So in doing this, now people have to come to grips with themselves. This man has been going out and he put his job on the line to speak up for the community. Where is the community? And at the same time, why is it that this timing, which is supposed to be fair to the topic for public discussion, why is it that the timing is now? If ESPN and Disney are such bad companies, why did you continue working for them? For the money? Okay, cool. So now it's all of this grandstanding for just the money. Are you just upset and sad that you got fired? Fine. But the moment you introduce race, now you just change the dynamic of the argument. Let's continue.
So let's garner as much positive publicity as we can early before all of these people that you've seen come out on my behalf and say I was the best in the world at the job and I deserved better. One, I didn't deserve to be laid off or fired. It ain't about money.
Okay.
Two, I didn't deserve to be handled that way. So let's get ahead of it.
But you don't get to choose. Okay. When you're in someone else's house, you don't get to choose how they handle you. You're in their house. One of the things that my father taught me a long time ago was where there's a roof, there is a rule, and you don't get to choose how that rule is applied to you, right? That rule is going to get applied to you as the rule maker has seen fit. So you can't, if you already experiencing them so-called discriminating against you, why would you be surprised if they definitely discriminate against you? So, more question, why did you stay? Let's continue.
We're going to get ahead of it by leaking it to someone who they know hated me.
I would say, bro, how could this be that thought out when they just asked you if we could all, as a crew, come on First Take in August? That don't make no sense. When I saw it and how they did it and how outspoken you are about the community and how, like you're talking, some people don't agree with your stances and don't like that you were that open on their platforms. To me, it seemed like it was almost like buck breaking.
Nah, I don't like what damn it, his name is slipping me by. I don't like what he just said right there. And let me tell you why. Because now what you're doing is you're speaking to a culture of what goes on inside the organization, right? And we all know what buck breaking is. Buck breaking is a term that they use for horses. When you break in the buck in, you want to tame the buck so it won't be acting all crazy, so it could do its job. It also is a term that they used during slavery, where you have to tame the male so you can get the women, and children in line, right? What's going on, Malcolm? So this whole thing about this whole buck breaking thing, my thing is, if the problems were significant while the relationship was intact, why are you calling it buck breaking? He just said that we were supposed to come on to ESPN in August. Why didn't y'all go? Right? Because now you're making me ask the question. If this is retaliation, then just say that. If the answer is that your perspective changed over time, explain how. If the answer is that you're losing your position because losing your position caused you to reevaluate your experience, then just say that. Because that's also a reasonable thing to admit, because transparency creates credibility. Ambiguity creates suspicion. Right. Black Eye says, so black people can't be fired? That's my point. Just because you get fired, does that mean that the company is racist? Because if you're going to accuse them of buck breaking, why did you stay to get broke?
Slavery term.
You know, where you're outspoken, open on their platforms. To me, it seemed like it was almost like buck breaking.
Slavery term.
You know, where you're the outspoken one, you're alpha. Let's embarrass him so everybody else gets in line. So nobody else talks crazy to us anymore, goes through emails or whatever. Like, no, let's teach him a lesson. Let's embarrass him on national TV so that they all line up.
Yeah, I think that could be part of it, you know.
See what I mean? Now let's see if he gives us evidence as to why he believes what Crowder said. Because Crowder is saying so they made an example out of you to get the other niggas in line. Okay, cool. Let's see if he gives us examples or justifications as to why he agrees with that statement.
Like, I also know that this is a private company. They get to make their decisions based on what they want to make them on what they want to do. What I do know is they didn't take a vote. This wasn't about the majority, right? This wasn't about the people I work with day to day, because my phone don't say that. Production people who ain't worked with me in 5-6 years, thank you for how you treated me. Thank you for the laughs. Thank you for your professionalism. Thank you for showing up constantly. You know, Monday night, thank you for always. If we didn't have any talent on a meeting, you were always there. You were always on time. You were always building things for the other people on that set. Thank you. And so when the people you work with cry for you, man, that means the world to me. When I get the messages of like the fact that I supported you, the fact that I was there for you means the world to you. Like it gave you the legs to stand up and be who you were on TV. Like, that matters. This was a dictatorship. A person or a group of persons, very small group. They didn't poll the majority.
Yeah.
They didn't ask that question. Because you asked that question, now you got to say, even though you told me just how important he was, I don't care. I don't care. I know how important you think he is, and you work with him every day. I don't care how important you think he is. I don't like him. People like me don't like him. They keep calling my phone. I don't want my phone to ring no more. Right? There's other things I'll defend. I'll defend talking about another executive. I'll defend that. I'll defend sabotage. I'll defend getting sued.
Did you defend Charlie Kirk? Oh, some of y'all must have never not known, or some of y'all must have forgot. See, depending on when you're performing at an organization, when you're performing at a job, sometimes your behavior can result in you getting fired, even if you was the best employee there. If I'm not mistaken, Ryan Clark said openly, even on ESPN, that Charlie Kirk was a racist. Okay, cool. What makes Charlie Kirk a racist? His statements, his rhetoric, the things he was saying, and all that. Oh, okay, cool, great. All right, cool. So now ESPN is going to wear the banner that one of their best analysts, one of their best panelists, one of their best sportscasters, one of their best orators on the show is calling another man racist just because he doesn't agree with him. Okay, cool. So you think you're gonna get some type of fair treatment? Oh, so Charlie Kirk was a racist only because you took his comments about what he said about black people. So all right, so racism works two ways. So now Charlie Kirk lost his life and you lost your job. You can still see your kids. You can still see your wife. You can still see your friend. None of this sounds like buck breaking. I'm going to just be honest with you, right? It doesn't. None of this sounds like buck breaking. And the sad part is that a lot of people think that I'm trying to hold Ryan Clark to some form of perfectionism. This isn't about demanding perfection from Ryan Clark, right? Is it about expecting him to respond to losing a high-profile job without emotion? No, I expect him to have a response in an emotional way about losing a high-profile job. But I expect you as a man to hold your head up and keep it pushing, right? It's not even about defending ESPN as though large corporations are incapable of making poor decisions. Every corporation, every business, big and small, is capable of making poor decisions, and they should be held responsible. Anyone who has spent enough time watching corporate America knows that companies often make decisions based on ratings, budgets, branding, personalities, internal politics, and executive priorities. And they're not always transparent. And they are certainly not always fair. That's just reality. Right. Just move on and say it didn't work out for me at ESPN. Right? Justin says, better yet, why isn't Ryan standing up for and speaking for Jonathan Majors, who turned out to be innocent? Right. Right? Let's forget the fact that the economy is down and networks are cutting costs across the board. Right. So you got let go because you was black, or you just got let go because, hey, bro, companies making big cuts. Right. So I give you a personal example, right? I worked for a very fast growing big company. And when they made the decision to grow this company outside of the United States of America, I'm not going to say the name of the company, even though some people already know, but they decided that they were going to throw over $10 million in marketing over in the EU and over in China. I raised the question, why are y'all throwing $10 million in marketing? And why are y'all spending $5 million? And the only reason I even know these numbers is because I was a part of those discussions where decisions was being made, right? I sat on the board. Why are y'all spending $10 million on marketing in another country? Why are y'all spending $5 million on a Super Bowl commercial when y'all not doing no marketing in some of your overperforming areas, right? So when you don't do marketing, your business is going to fail. And exactly what I thought was going to happen. This company that I was working for during the pandemic, we rivaled Amazon. This company prided itself on making your deliveries within 25 to 45 minutes, which we did. And we did everything in-house. So Amazon was making deliveries, 3 to 4 days out, a week out, 2 weeks out. Temu, you was getting your delivery, 6 months later because it had to come off of a Chinese ship. This company I was working for, which is not DoorDash, so I'm going to get DoorDash off the table. This company I was working for was a small-time business company that blew up during the pandemic because we was delivering alcohol, which we housed, labeled, and shipped alcohol to people's home addresses. All you had to do was show your ID, and we would deliver as much alcohol as you could order. That's literally how we blew up. We blew up off of alcohol sales. You know what happened after the pandemic? After the pandemic, everybody started going back outside. So y'all made a bad marketing decision when y'all decided to open up 500 locations all across America, and you had no people to train them. You had no people to teach them the ethics and the core aspects of the business. Nothing. But you know what did happen? They went and they spent $10 million on about 3 or 4 different celebrities to go market this company in the EU. They spent $5 million on a celebrity to do a 2-minute drop during the Super Bowl. And I bet y'all know, none of y'all never, I've given y'all all the examples of who this company could be. and none of y'all could ever tell me who this company is, right? Within a year after that Super Bowl, there was a wave of layoffs, and the majority of the layoffs came from the bottom going up. So they laid off they started laying off employees. Then they started laying off supervisors. Then they start laying off managers. Then they start laying off site leaders. Then they start laying off executives. Eventually, they made a core decision to sell the company to Amazon. After Amazon just went through a wave of layoffs, and what this company did was they went and hired all of those laid off Amazon people. That's crazy that you found. That's crazy that you got that. That's exactly who it was. That's exactly who it was. And then next thing you know, all of these people, they end up getting acquisitioned. They went to Amazon. And GoPuff is a dead company now. Not making no strides whatsoever. And I told them this. So I got up out of there. What's going on, Midwest? What's happening? Appreciate you. Somebody said, how do I support the show? You support the show by hitting the Cash App, the PayPal, or the Venmo. It is entirely up to you. If you need the links or the names, just let us know. It says GoPuff is still hiring on Indeed. They better be. That company is a shit company. But I left. I was like, oh no, I see what's about to happen, especially after they start merging the warehouses and they start giving people only 28 hours a week. Oh no, y'all going down the drain. Y'all not gonna make it. But I can't say that people were getting laid off because they was black. I can't say that people were getting laid off because of discrimination. I have 15 employees at one building. I had 7 employees at another building. The majority of my employees was women. Some of these women came from the LGBTQIA+ community. And guess what? None of those women complained when they got laid off. They just took it. It was what it was. But this idea, because I'm getting back to Ryan Clark, this idea that butt breaking was a part of the process that led up to Ryan Clark being fired. Nah, bro. Maybe it's the things that you said and the way you behaved. But let's continue.
I'll defend all those things. What I'm not going to defend is you standing up for Angel Reese and everybody being mad about the way you did it, or about what you said about, I'm not going to defend that. No.
Okay, cool. But here's the problem. Angel Reese just played in the damn WNBA All-Star game, or the championship, one or two, and didn't score one bucket. Come on, man.
I'm not going to defend you standing on 10 toes for them all the time. It's not what I'm going to do. I'm not going to take those calls. And that was the decision that was made. And I believe that has a large role in why it was made.
Bro. So, all right. So now we got a new allegation. And I want y'all to understand just how diabolical what he just said and how crazy this is. Ryan Clark is alluding that he got fired because he stood up for a black woman. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all understand exactly what just happened. Ryan Clark is making the allegation that ESPN Disney fired him because he stood up for a black woman, and he said it without saying it. Oh, that was the decision why I got fired, because I was defending Angel Reese. Wait, what? Okay, so what about everybody else that was defending Angel Reese? Right. Joey says that's the Ryan Clark go-to. See what I'm saying? So now you have to provide evidence. If not, people without a brain is just going to follow you and say, oh, yeah, Disney and ESPN, they definitely racist. They fired him because he was defending a black woman. What? Okay, so now let's stick with that accusation. Let's ride on that one for a minute, right? So if they fired you because you defended a black woman, did they hire other people because they defended black women? Did they fire some men for defending black men? Did they fire some men for defending black men? For criticizing or accusing black men? Which one is it? Because racism is not a one-way valley. It's a wide open, it's a gaping hole of destruction and degeneracy. So at the same time that this might be a possibility, possibilities are is not proof, and suspicion is not evidence, and inference is not documentation. So why are you saying these things? One of the healthiest habits that we can develop as consumers of media is learning to separate those categories instead of allowing them to blend together. But it's the content creator's responsibility to not just push you a honest message that is based in truth, but also one that is not based in trying to lead you into something just because the content creator believes in it. And as viewers, we should be able to acknowledge that someone may have been hurt while also recognizing that we don't know the very reason a company made its decision. We should be able to sympathize with a person's disappointment without assuming every implication attached to their story has been verified. Just so says the crazy part is Angel Reese does not care, and she will just say, no, Ryan, my man's got to have a job. No, she won't say it.
We know how much you love what you do and how hard you work and how passionate you are. And we've seen numerous occasions where we've had opportunities on this show to make X amount of money, and you help us understand that it's not about the money. It's about the quality of the work that we have to put out and the lives it's going to touch. So we agree with you. It's not about the money. It's never been about that. It's about your job and simply what you love to do. But when you text me, like all the other people you spoke about, I said, man, this man lying.
Oh, shit. Hold on.
April Fool's, it ain't even April. I didn't believe him, but I didn't want to respond that way because it caught me off guard. And I was like, ain't no fucking way these people are that stupid to do one of their best, but people like that. And I ain't saying that because we rock, but I just know what it is. But even then, you know, I started searching the internet and trying to figure out, like many people might be, like, what happened? Like, what's going on? Like, is this a Netflix doc situation? Like, what's really going on? Yeah. And we've been hearing reports about, you know, the disagreement with Peter, right? Yeah. They're trying to pit you and Pat against each other. Mm-hmm. And so many other things people are trying to stir up and figure out what's going on. Like Chan said, like they're looking or waiting for a scandal, right? Yeah. But it's simpler than that.
Oh yeah, it's no scandal. Let me be very clear. I love Pat McAfee. I think what Pat McAfee set out to do really put in place a blueprint for a lot of us. Like, can we do it and be accepted or received at that level, at that amount of money? Probably not. He's an anomaly in that way. But I respect and admire what he's built so much. Right. Peter Schrager, like me and Peter don't have an issue, right? I would think if you'd ask him right now, obviously after what went on with us, there's been nobody that's nicer to him. And I do want to address that as well. Going into last season, that was when I met with the executive and said, hey, look, I can only see one reason why you'll have a problem with me, because it's not my work. And I get my schedule. I'm supposed to work Thursday, Friday on Get Up and First Take. I fly in on Wednesday night. That's what my schedule says. So I fly in on Wednesday night. I never get an email. I never get a text message. Normally you get that about the production meeting. I don't get that. So I wake up in the morning and I was like, well, you know, I'm not working. I'm texting, hey, am I off of it? And I cut the TV on and Taylor and Will are on, which, like, I'm happy for them. Mm-hmm. Them boys worked hard to get that opportunity, right? Go do your thing. But I was upset because, wait, you can't call me and tell me that the schedule's changed? I don't deserve the respect of believing that this is my schedule? And along with some other people, we built Get Up. That junk was dying. Your original idea didn't work. Mm. So it was Dan and it was Marcus and it was Culture Wednesday with me and Dominique. That's why that show lasted to be what it is that you turned it into now. And the people who I built that with, y'all just couldn't call me and just tell me, RC, we made another decision. And I asked, man, and another thing I'm mad at myself, I begged and begged to be back on that show. Because it meant so much to me that we built it and to be on it. And they just kept telling me, people aren't doing both shows. Dan's doing both shows all the time.
Yeah.
Damian Woody's doing both shows all the time. Peter Schrager's doing both shows all the time. And so I'm already feeling something. And you go into that Friday, and Greeny had said, and Peter had exchanged a couple of times that neither one of them ever played.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about CeeDee Lamb. And I tried to be very thoughtful in the way I approached it, because I wasn't trying to say you don't have an opinion because you didn't play. I was trying to say you have a different opinion because you didn't play.
That's not what you said. See? This is why there's this thing called the internet, and it's forever, right? The internet is the internet, and it's forever for the reason, right? What you said was this.
This morning, are you feeling okay? You look at AJ Brown, which is this number one wide receiver who got one target all night, and then you got CeeDee Lamb. But that's the
when was the one target?
That's the target. But
though.
I'm saying
when was the one target?
I'm saying you could have it both ways.
54 seconds left in the game on 2nd and 11. It was the one target. He runs the out route.
You wake up this morning saying
got
AJ Brown had a better day than CeeDee Lamb.
But you know what you wake up saying though? AJ Brown's team is 1-0.
Of course,
right? Like that's what
I get it.
But the thing is this though, and we shouldn't do this on TV.
Uh-oh. So anytime you say we shouldn't do this or I shouldn't say this, you know what you about to say is fucked up. Or when you hear somebody say that, you know what they about to say is fucked up.
And so I apologize if people think this is rude.
If you have to apologize in advance, maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't say it.
That's the non-player.
Oh, stop.
Now, you said that's the non-player in you. You know what that sound like? Right. It's Joey says it's like with the all due respect sort of. Absolutely. Right? With all due respect, fuck you, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it is, right? And the same thing goes for the culture. You ain't black enough, you ain't hood enough, you ain't this enough, you ain't that enough, or you a conservative, you a Trump supporter, oh, you the white man's attack dog. All this is like, even if you got love for me, if you say, hey, with all due respect, bro, and I don't mean no harm by what I say, in other words, exactly. You putting titles on bullshit, right? Or y'all having a sidebar conversation. So whenever you open with that, just know you about to say some bullshit, right?
We shouldn't do this on TV.
Mm-hmm.
So I apologize if people think this is rude.
Uh-oh.
That's the non-player.
Oh, stop. CeeDee Lamb is
let me tell you why.
So somebody else got in trouble for making this comment. Y'all remember when Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless got into it? Do y'all remember that very last argument that they had where it looked like Shannon Sharp was about to jump across the table and beat the shit out of Skip Bayless? Y'all remember that? Y'all don't remember that? Hold on. Now let me pull it. Hold on. Give me a second. Shannon Sharp, Skip Bayless. Yep. Okay, hold on. That very last argument that they had.
Good. Are they going to be in the playoffs? Help me out.
Skip,
I need you to
that's your argument.
Okay,
that's your argument.
What do you mean that's my argument?
Your argument is that they're going to be in the playoffs. Is Tom Brady playing bad?
Okay,
Yes or no?
Yes, he played poorly yesterday.
What do you mean yesterday?
Okay,
I was here.
But you're giving him 100% of the blame?
Because
That's just, you have no objectivity. It's just straight Brady hate. Wait a minute. This is just straight hate by a guy who's jealous that he is still playing at a high level at 45 when you had to stop at 35.
That's what.
Now, I'll admit, if I was Shannon and you just said that to me on national TV, oh, I'm about to whoop your ass. I'm probably gonna have an emotional response. I'm probably gonna whoop your ass because now you discrediting everything I did in my football career, right? Michael says, "Well, Skip always got something silly to say," right? And Skip was dumb as hell for saying that shit. Exactly, Lauren. He should have not said that. Now, what was the response that Shannon gave?
That's the point.
That's what you do. Every time I call something into question, I'm jealous.
No,
Skip, I did what I
never
did.
said you were jealous of Baker Mayfield.
Skip, I did what I did. You make it seem like I was a bum. I'm in the effing Hall of Fame.
Okay,
I got 3 Super Bowls.
So what?
So what?
He's way better than you were.
I'm better than
Way
you.
better.
Skip, what? I got to see what you do. You take personal shots.
No, I don't take personal shots. You started it.
Time out. You would take a personal shot at me.
I didn't take a personal shot at you.
Wait a minute.
What are you talking about?
When he took them glasses off. Sorry, y'all know what that meant when he took them glasses off, right? When them glasses came off, that wasn't Shannon Sharp no more. That was Shay. When them glasses come off, that's Shay right there. You opening up a different can of worms, right?
Take personal shots.
No, I don't take personal shots. You started it.
Time out. You would take a personal shot at me.
I didn't take a personal shot at you.
Wait a minute.
What are you talking about?
You would take a personal.
Put your glasses back on.
Can I finish? You're willing to take a personal shot at me to say this man is better than me because I say he's playing bad this year?
Well, because you disrespect him. It's just so. You know what? It's beneath your dignity.
You would disrespect me to support him.
No, well, I'll support him over anybody because he's the greatest player who ever played your game, and it's by far.
Have it.
Okay,
Take off,
I'm going to have at it because I'm going to have at you because what happened yesterday? The Bucks defense.
Skip Bayless said because
now. That was the very last argument that they had. But pay attention. Now, you want to provide some evidence. You want to say there's clearly a form of racism that's happening in mainstream media or in sports media where black men can't say things that white men can. That white man can. Oh, okay, cool. Where's the evidence? Well, look what happened to Shannon and Skip. And Shannon got fired. Okay, cool. You want to talk about butt breaking? Okay, cool. But you said that you got fired because you was defending a black woman. Let's see. Was you defending a black woman when you made this comment? Let's see. Hold on. Let's go back. Was you defending a black woman when you made this comment?
Team is 1-0.
Of course.
Right, like that's what I get it. But the thing is this though, and we shouldn't do this on TV. And so I apologize if people think this is rude. That's the non-player.
Oh, stop. That's no. CeeDee Lamb is.
Let me tell you why. I'm not saying
I'm not looking at fantasy football, Ryan. I'm not. Don't belittle me like that. I could come in and say, as 3 ex-players are saying one thing, and give an alternative perspective that maybe CeeDee Lamb did play well. And
Peter, what I need for you to do is not get mad and let me finish for one.
Okay, go on.
It wasn't about you. It was going to be about me.
Okay.
As a player, I can't speak for CeeDee Lamb.
But here's the problem: if it works one way, and I need y'all to pay attention to this. This is where I disagree with Skip and his activism. You can't say you're not a player and I am, so I can say that. If he's an analyst and if he has a longer career than you, or if anyone has a longer career than you, then they have more right to speak about analyzing the game. That means that they can talk about the game because they come from the position of an analyst, an analytical person. That does not mean that they have more experience than the person that they're talking about. That just means that they have experience as an analyst. So you stepped out of line and you said some stupid shit. We probably shouldn't say this on TV. Yeah, you probably shouldn't have said it on TV.
And maybe I didn't get that across in the right way.
No, you didn't.
I can accept that.
Okay,
but then he raises his voice at me. He's like, don't belittle me and this and this. And in the moment, I'm like, I'm on TV. I'm not going to have that back and forth.
Oh,
let me be calm. Let me de-escalate this.
But you're the one that, do y'all see the problem here? You're the one that escalated it. And wait, now this is the part that I don't like. You escalated the situation and you didn't like how the person responded. My wife just did a show about that. About reacting and responding. She literally just did a stream about that the other day. Shout out to Mind Chaos Brew. If y'all didn't watch it, make sure y'all go check out her channel and watch that stream where she talks about reacting and responding. I don't get to disrespect you and then choose how you get to respond. Do y'all agree with that? Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with that. If someone disrespects you, they also don't get to choose how you respond. You respond how you want to respond because you're the one that got disrespected. And no shape, form, or fashion. And I'm going to ask you for permission to defend myself. If you say some out the way shit, I'm more than likely about to say some out the way shit to you. If you put your hands on me, I'm gonna put my hands on you. Now that's just on some human being type shit. Keep your hands to yourself. Or else one of us, if not both of us, is going to have to deal with the consequences. Just that simple. But you cannot say that, oh, well, this is definitely a come on, bro. That's not how that works. You can't get upset at him for how he responded to your disrespect.
And let me truly explain what I mean. That the in-helmet perspective is different than the out-of-helmet perspective. And so we get in the break, man, and I walk off, right? Because I'm upset because I'm knowing what's going to happen because he said I belittled him and he raised his voice at me.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like celebrating the segment like it's a great segment. But I'm already knowing the person who loves you don't love me, and they make decisions here, and we just had that happen. Yeah. And while he's celebrating, I'm just telling him, like, man, like, don't effing disrespect me like that. Because I'm knowing what's going to happen. Now, at this point, I'm standing over here, right? I've gotten out of my chair, which is 2 away from him. I'm standing over there. And obviously, they recorded and they showed me the video. And I'm talking to people who've been there for 12 years, man. And they like, we thought you were going to get aggressive. What?
Mm-hmm.
The person you've been knowing all this time who never did anything, who's never had an altercation here, was going to get aggressive from over there? So now you're trying to paint this angry black man trope of me that you know is not true, but I'm starting to feel the narrative.
3-Man Podcast says, did he really raise his voice at him? I don't know. I didn't. I don't know. Let's watch it again. Did he really raise his voice at him? Let's listen again and see if he raised his voice at him like he said he did.
Kept saying no. AJ Brown's team is 1-0.
Of course,
right? Like that's what I get it. But the thing is this though, and we shouldn't do this on TV. And so I apologize if people think this is rude. That's the non-player.
Oh, stop! That's no. That CeeDee Lamb is.
Let me tell you why. I'm not looking at fantasy football, Ryan. I'm not. Don't belittle me like that. I could come in and say, as 3 ex-players are saying one thing, and give an alternative perspective that maybe CeeDee Lamb did play well. And Peter, what I need for you to do is not get mad and let me finish for one.
Okay.
Did he raise his voice at him? I didn't hear him raise his voice. What up, Special Master? Appreciate you for being here. Shout out to the Lions, as always. I didn't hear him raise his voice at him. Did y'all hear him raise his voice? That's the same tone he had the whole time. Not really. So where did he raise his voice at him at? I don't know. Maybe I missed it. Hold up. Let's try it again. Maybe I missed it. Because it sounds like everybody was yelling on the show.
This morning, are you feeling okay? You look at AJ Brown, which is this #1 wide receiver who got 1 target all night, and then you got CeeDee Lamb.
But that's the
when was the one target?
That's the target.
But
though.
I'm saying.
Wait, hold on. Somebody's actually raising their voice. Hold up. Time out.
When was the one target?
I'm saying you could have it both ways.
54 seconds left in the game on 2nd and 11. It was the one target. He runs the out route.
You wake up this morning saying
got
AJ Brown had a better day than CeeDee Lamb.
But you know what you wake up saying though? AJ Brown's team is 1-0.
Of course.
Right? That's what
I get it.
But the thing is this though, and we shouldn't do this on TV. And so I apologize if people think this is rude. That's the non-player.
Oh, stop! That's no. CeeDee Lamb is.
Let me tell you why. I'm not looking at fantasy football,
Ryan. I'm not. Don't belittle me like that. I could come in and say, as 3 ex-players are saying one thing, and give an alternative perspective that maybe CeeDee Lamb did play well. And
Peter, what I need for you to do is not get mad and let me finish for one.
Okay.
What the fuck? Right. Just so says, when did sports broadcasting turn into a bunch of crybaby meanies? Cooley says, why are they arguing? Okay, so I give you the perfect answer to this, Cooley. When it comes to men in sports, we typically argue and we typically raise our voice. Watch, I can give you a perfect example of this. It all depends on who they like. To all the men in the chat that watch basketball, right? To all the men in the chat, I need your ears and I need your fingers for a second. Pause. To all the men in the chat, who's the GOAT of basketball between LeBron James, Michael Jordan, and Kobe Bryant? Now, Cooley Cat, I can potentially start an argument in the chat right now. Look, Joey says MJ. Viking says Jordan and Bird. Says Jordan. Says Jordan. MJ, right? Now look, Dr. Manhattan said Kobe. Now, if we was at a bar or if we was in a barbershop, oh brother, it's about it, Cooley Cat. It's about to be a loud ass look. MJ, then Kobe, then LeBron. Kobe too. Kobe. Right? It's about to be an argument that's never going to end. Niggas about to be bringing up history, errors, championships, points, all of that. Look, Special says MJ is the GOAT, no matter how many years LeBron played. There you go. Sports talk almost always starts a fist fight. Look, just introduce a new player to the game. What about Kareem? Right? Allen Iverson too. Look. So now we got more men in the chat that's adding more players. And one of these men is going to step up like, man, them niggas ain't got nothing on LeBron. No, man, he ain't got nothing on MJ. Man, he ain't got shit on Kareem. And then they're about to start arguing about game 6 and game 5 and game 7 and all of that. I'm just saying. Just saying. That's how it happens, Cooley Cat. But let's get back to this. By the way, we are only 50 away from our show goal. It would be greatly appreciated. We can go ahead and hit our show goal for the day. But let's continue.
I feel what you're doing. You get me on the phone and people are telling me you gotta work better with people. Work better with who? Everybody I work with loves me. Like real talk. Everybody I work with, they F with me the long way. Like I ain't the best teammate. Hell, Jason Kelsey called me just to tell me that. Wow. And so I was just seeing the narrative that was being pushed and seeing the way it was going. And then even that, much like what happened with Outkick with my firing, they leaked that video. And when they showing me this video, it's the video from the control room. So if that's gonna get released, that's somebody that works for us. Yeah. Right, you've been here 12 years. You have this incident. I want people to know that about you. I'm getting calls. We got the video. The video's been leaked. We're gonna show this. And honestly, I was trying to keep my job at the time. I should have told him, show it. Show him that he celebrated. Show him that I walked away. Show him that I was a 46-year-old man that said the F word from 15 feet away from somebody. But me and Peter talked. Yeah. Me and Peter fixed that. Me and Peter had the conversation. Me and Peter moved on from it, right? And what I wanted to do from him from that point on, because I heard what he said, I never wanted to make him feel that way, whether intentionally or unintentionally. So anything he wanted to do on TV, any point he made, any conversation he wanted to have, I was going to have it with him. I was going to support him. I was going to be a good teammate because that's what I did for everybody else. And like that was unfortunate, but that's not why I'm fired.
You're a stand-up guy. You've always preached accountability. Looking back over your 11 years at ESPN,
12,
11, 12, Is there anything you would do differently, or do you leave knowing that you were fully yourself, or, you know, what are your thoughts, man?
It's a good question. It depends on when you ask me. You know? Like you asked me, like when I see people.
And now here come the tears.
In public, like OGs and like aunties and stuff, and they tell me they proud of me, and they proud of like and they proud of like the way I represent the community. Yeah. I wouldn't change anything. Because that means the world to me. You know, or like when I go home and this kid, you know, from the West Bank is like so accepted in New Orleans now. Like I wouldn't change that. You know, never. You know, like all I ever wanted to do is be accepted. You know, and want it. So yeah, like that, I wouldn't change. You know? If you ask me, probably the first like Monday of football, when all my friends get to do something like we did like super special together, yeah, I'd probably change it. You know? I'd probably work harder to like be who they wanted me to be, or like build relationships with like bosses or executives, you know, cause like it's just a relationship game. Cause like I just see these people on TV who like aren't better than me, but I know I've never been at the tables they've been accepted at. So yeah, you know, there's some things I think I would do differently because I feel like I let them win. You know, I feel like there's a group of people, a faction of individuals who wanted to like devalue my voice, who wanted to take away my platform. I feel like I let them win, you know? But then there's the other side of it of like, my platform isn't as big anyway, or it's not as impactful anyway if I don't do those things. If I'm not that person, if I'm not authentically me.
So now I have a question. Are you crying because you can't express your activism on a bigger platform? Or are you crying because you're not going to get a paycheck for expressing your activism on a bigger platform? Because that's what it looks like. It literally looks like you are emotionally upset because they took away your pacifier. They took away your binky. Because you wanted to use it. Now, I want y'all to pay attention to what I'm saying. You wanted to utilize another person's platform to express and participate in your activism. So that's why you're crying. Hey, Ryan, if you're watching this, if anyone ever clips this, have this ever crossed your mind? Maybe your activism and their platform does not align. There's a strong possibility that your activism and their sports broadcasting network does not align. And there is also a strong possibility that you valued your activism more than their platform. Hence, in turn, even if the executive didn't like you, all you did was give him ammunition to fire you. So why are you crying? Why are you now coming back to your platform where you can express your activism openly and freely? You could have been building your platform with your activism. Exactly, Deacon Dave. He don't understand the square peg and the round hole. Crossmondo says, I think you hit the nail on the head, unfortunately. Ben Crump syndrome. It's not that your activism isn't welcome, but if your activism is devaluing our platform, guess what? Have y'all ever heard this line before? The squeaky wheel. Somebody in the chat finished the saying. The squeaky wheel So, with all due respect, and I probably shouldn't say this on the live stream, but with all due respect, Ryan, your activism and their platform does not align. So you didn't get fired because you defended a black woman, Angel Reese. You also didn't get fired for your salacious statements about Charlie Kirk. That's not why you got fired either. You didn't get fired for the things that you said about Keron Lacey. That's not why you got fired either. You didn't get fired because you wasn't a likable guy. That's another reason why you wasn't fired. You also wasn't fired because you was a black man. That's definitely not a reason why you got fired, because there's other black men that still work there. Stephanie Smith. You didn't get fired because you're an ex-football player. There's other football players, ex-football players that still work there. You also didn't get fired because of your religious beliefs. You also didn't get fired because of your community work. Oops, I'm sorry. Let me back up a square peg. You were utilizing ESPN's platform. Now, I want y'all to watch this, because some of y'all out there, y'all are content creators or y'all watch other content creators. And it goes back to something that I said a long time ago. When you devalue my platform with your degeneracy, you're not welcome back to my platform. Even if someone offered me money to accept you on my platform, I run the risk of losing monetization or getting terminated because of what you believe to be right. Exactly, Dr. Manhattan. He was affecting their bottom line. You tried to discredit the other guy you was talking to just because he didn't play football. That does not make you an expert at football just because you play football. That does not make LeBron James' son good just because he's LeBron James' son. That does not make LeVar Ball's three sons good just because they're LeVar Ball's sons. That does not make if you were an ex-teammate of Kobe Bryant, Kyrie Irving, what's the boy name that's shooting up out of Stephen Curry, just because you next to the person don't mean that you're as good as the person. Just because you have interactions with the other person does not mean that you're as good as the other person. But when you are using your activism, your victimhood, to devalue the overall establishment, the overall establishment has a choice to make. We're either going to continue to be devalued or we're going to let you go. Facts. Big facts. Right? I don't do the whole disrespecting the dead thing. That's devaluing the channel. Right. Oh, well, you don't speak about drama enough. That's why your channel don't get as much views. You could be right. But I would rather have low views with quality people than to have high views with bullshit shows. That's where a lot of people go wrong when it comes to content creation. And that's where a lot of people like Ryan go wrong when they think that I can now utilize your platform to spew my bullshit. Cross says, for right or for wrong, I think because ESPN is bleeding money, they've rolled back on having their platform used for other people's political and activist agendas. Cross Mundo. You and I have just stumbled upon one of the very many reasons that he possibly, and I strongly agree, that he possibly got fired due to layoffs on all of this woke agenda propagandist bullshit coming from these big companies that's being bled out. They're laying people off. And it just so happened, Ryan, you gave them the perfect round of ammunition to go ahead and fire your ass. Period. Just some says absolutely no PDF file bullshit. Facts. Right? Special Master says Clark using his massive platform to view every sports story through a hyper-racial lens. Facts. Now, the sad thing about this is that even when I'm watching this video, right? As I'm watching the pivot's video, this video got over 1.2 million views, and it just came out 3 days ago. Let's look at their average viewership. Four days ago, 16,000. 6 days ago, 263,000. 7 days ago, 14,000. 9 days ago, 74,000. 13 days ago, 364,000. 2 weeks ago, 218,000. 2 weeks ago, 219,000. 3 weeks ago, 337,000. 3 weeks ago, 218,000. 4 weeks ago, 10,000. A month ago, 456,000. A month ago, 57,000. 3 days ago, 1.2 million? Something happened here. And it's not because Ryan Clark got fired. No. What happened here was you've gotten all of the support that you was looking for, right? This is what you was looking for. And I have to go back to what they were saying on the other podcast. You did this for views and clicks. This was for clicks and views. Right? Look, doing shit for clicks and views will eventually catch up with you. As a business, after this interview, what company is going to want to hire him after this? You're bad for business. You're bad for business because you know what you're doing? You're shitting on your employer and you're not giving valid, factual basis or reasons as to why it is you're not with that network anymore, unless you're gearing up for a lawsuit. But it worked. Somebody highlighted something that he said in the show. Just because I wasn't picked doesn't mean I wasn't chosen. No, the problem was you were chosen by Stephen A. Smith when ESPN didn't want you. But what did you do? You picked yourself when you was chosen by someone else. Somebody write this in the comment section. You went into business for yourself. That's an old wrestling terminology. When you go into business for yourself, you put the business on the back burner. You can't go into business for yourself. A prime example of going into business for yourself, because I like to be a little bit of a wrestling historian. For those of you that watch wrestling, you had the hottest, baddest, and when I say hot, I mean that motherfucker was firing on all cylinders. You had one of the baddest wrestlers of all time by the name of Stone Cold Steve Austin. And Stone Cold Steve Austin, he literally saved the WWE. At the time, it was called the WWF. You know what happened? When Stone Cold Steve Austin didn't want to do a job, when he didn't want to do a favor for the business, Stone Cold Steve Austin chose himself over choosing the business because he didn't want to lose to Brock Lesnar. Guess what happened to Stone Cold Steve Austin? He wasn't on TV. He wasn't doing pay-per-views. He was sitting at home, gaining weight and drinking beer on his ranch because he went into business for himself. Now, eventually, thanks to JR, he went and talked. Yet he got replaced. And come on now, Cross. Come on now, Cross. You watch wrestling. So what happened? Eventually, JR went and talked some sense into Stone Cold Steve Austin's ass. And then eventually Stone Cold Steve Austin came back begging to be back on TV. Well, guess what Vince McMahon said? Yeah, I've been waiting on your motherfucking ass to come back. But you know what the problem is? You got to pay a fine. Because when you left the business, Stone Cold Steve Austin literally was the big ticket. He was the money for the WWE. If you was on the card with Stone Cold Steve Austin, you was getting paid that night. If you was wrestling against Stone Cold Steve Austin, you was getting paid that night. So imagine how many people went hungry when you chose you over choosing the business. While Ryan is sitting back saying, oh, well, what about all the people that depend on me? Was you thinking about those people when you was putting your activism over your job? You signed a contract for ESPN. You agreed to do a show. But instead of sticking to the business, you stuck to Ryan. So since Ryan chose Ryan, there's this old famous clip where Vince McMahon talks about Bret Hart. And someone asked him the question, did you screw Bret Hart at the Montreal Screwjob? He says, no, Bret screwed Bret. In other words, Bret Hart is the reason what happened to him, because he didn't want to drop the belt to Shawn Michaels. And because he did not want to drop the belt to Shawn Michaels and you was getting ready to go to WCW, guess what we about to do? We need that belt back, cuz. And we're going to get that belt back however we got to get it back. So Bret can't be mad at Vince McMahon for protecting the business. And Ryan can't be mad at ESPN for protecting the brand. Anyway, y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed tonight's show. And this is just my breakdown and my analysis of this whole entire situation. When you are working for a company, you can't go into business for yourself while also within the midst of that company. You can't use that company's time to produce your own business. That's not how that works. And if you were chosen, you can't pick yourself. And I don't say this with all due respect. I just say this with the God honest truth. Ryan screwed Ryan. Ryan fucked over Ryan. What Ryan did to himself, Ryan could have avoided. But Ryan thought that I was more important than the show. Do I watch Dark Side of the Ring? I love Dark Side of the Ring. I absolutely love Dark Side of the Ring. But you know what I love more than Dark Side of the Ring? You know what I love more than Dark Side of the Ring? A good old Netflix documentary.